Rev up your engines!
Just like MLB says. How about long-term auto storage tips? I got a 17 Jeep Limited with 78,000 miles. I'm going overseas for a minimum of 2 years. What should I do? 2 years is a long time. If at all possible, you'd want to jack the car up on jack stands so the tires aren't sitting on the ground. Because if the tires are sitting on the ground squashed for 2 years, odds are they're going to get flat spots. You're going to have to buy new tires. Now, let's say your tires are wearing out. What do you care? Just leave them on and then put new tires on when you come back. Now, 2 years is a really long time. The electrical system's going to go haywire, so either take the battery out and forget it and buy a new battery when you get back, or if you got a garage that it can be in, get one of those battery tenders. They're 40, 50 bucks. Hook it up to the battery tender and plug it in. It'll only use a few bucks of electricity each year, and that will keep your battery going good. You'd want to do that. Now, you would want to fill the gas all the way to the top, because if you got little gas in it, the air in your gas tank will start deteriorating the gas, and after 2 years you're going to find out you might have sludge in the bottom of the tank. But if it's full of gas, no air, it won't deteriorate, so the gasoline will last longer. You can put some of that gas stabilization stuff in. That'd help a little bit too. Put some stabilization and then fill it up and then park it, and then the rest is just, if it's sitting for 2 years, you're going to have to either get another battery if you didn't use a battery tender, and put the battery in and start it up and then check the tires and everything. But just realize modern vehicles aren't made to sit for years. They got all kinds of computer electronics. And when you do get it going again, you're probably going to have codes popping up all over the place. Then you drive it for a couple of days and reset them and see what happens, because modern cars with all those computers are not made to be sat for years and years and years. William R. says, I'm thinking about buying a 5.0 Coyote brand new from the dealer. Will a brand new Mustang 5-liter with 10-speed automatic last a long time if I drive it conservatively and maintain it? Well, you probably will, but here's the thing. Who buys a Mustang with a Coyote engine and that insanely complex 10-speed automatic transmission that has 3 overdrives in it? Who drives them slow? Hardly anybody. You get in something like that, you just want to step on the gas and go. When I had Shelby Cobra GT 500 for a week, I got 3 miles a gallon in that thing because I was driving like a maniac. You get in one of those cars, you can't help but drive like a maniac. But if you can control yourself and maintain it, sure. Think about it. You get a car that goes super fast and you only drive at 75, 80 miles an hour and don't do burnouts and stuff. Sure, the engine's made to go really fast. You don't go really fast, of course, it'll last a long time. It easily could, but I don't know. I couldn't buy one. I couldn't control myself. I'd be driving like a maniac if I had one of those. Peter Possible says, is this the end of my automatic transmission? I'm an Australian, got a 2015 Camry. 2.5. It's got 431,000 on the odometer. Transmission has a jerk when I start and run into third or fourth gear. It sometimes slips. Is my car worth a transmission rebuild, replacement, or just drive it till its demise? Well, if I were you, I'd drive it till its demise, basically, because those transmissions, the 2015s, they're really not all that rebuildable. I know guys who rebuild trannies, and when they get one of those in, they just say, whoa, those things are so complex, we're not going to touch it. You got a choice. If you can find a remanufactured one, we'll install it for this amount of money. Or what most people end up doing is, you do have 431,000 on it, is they find a low mileage used one in a junkyard and put a used one in. People used to do that in Houston all the time when I was there. They would say, look, it's going to cost you a fortune to do it right, either rebuild it or buy a remanufactured one. We found one in a junkyard. It's only got 80,000 miles. They put it in. It worked perfectly fine. That's what most people do. I mean, if you can find a junkyard one, you put it in, great. But in the meantime, I'd say just keep driving. As long as it goes, what the heck? That if it does break, you can find a used one, fine, fix it. But to actually repair it, some more money than your car's worth with that kind of mileage on it. Delano says, I'm looking for a cheap car in Virginia. A relative of mine doesn't have access to the internet. She's a single mom living with her mom. They live in the countryside. To go to work, she needs a car and hasn't been able to find a good, used, cheap one. Anybody know what I could do? Her budget's under $5,000. You live in Virginia, and I know people live in Virginia, and the standard of living there is, really high. Right? But you did say she lives in the countryside. And if it's far enough in the country, away from the rich city in Washington, D.C., where everybody's got so much money, they spend $5,000 on lunch. Now, $5,000 today isn't that much for a car, but you never know. There might be somebody, look at estate sales, older people that maybe their eyesight's gone, they can't drive anymore, and they got a low mileage car you might be able to get a decent price on. I'd say, look at Toyota Corollas, Honda Civics. Those are excellent vehicles, but it's hard to find good ones that cheap because everybody likes them and they drive them them forever, right? So start looking at estate sales. Elderly people that can't drive anymore and they're selling their old car. Even though it's old, it might not have that many miles. That'd be where I'd start, because you realize that isn't that much money for a car these days. I mean, the average used car these days is something like, I don't know, $27,000 or something. So start asking friends, look around. You never know. You might get lucky. Well, you see the old Tesla stocks going down, and some of the analysts, one guy, Paul Meek, says there is no floor on Tesla stock. These guys, they look at charts and they try to predict the future. A lot of it's total BS, but this guy's saying, well, I can't say there's a floor. Usually they give a floor bottom price, like they'll say, well, we think it'll bottom out at $50 a share, right? Well, this guy, Paul, he's saying, I don't think there's any floor at all. Nobody knows how low it can go. Some people say, will it go below $29 a share? In 2020, it was $29 a share, okay? All this fantasy hype about Elon and the electric cars, people act like, oh, it's so great, it's so big. We're talking about January 2020. It was $29 a share. It went up and it's coming back down again. The stock market is not reality. It's basically what people feel, what they believe in. And for some reason, clowns believed we're all going to get rich with Tesla. Hey, you know who got rich? Old Elon got rich. Well, he's not as rich as he was. He's shedding billions every day now, but came from nothing, goes to nothing as far as I'm concerned. Now it lost 65% of its value in 2022. Came up so fast with people just betting on a belief. People have to understand is, if you have an actual business, in this case, Tesla makes actual cars. The bottom line is you have to make quality vehicles that people will buy, that are going to last, not have problems, be put together right, not some belief. There comes a point when the rubber meets the road. People start buying these things. They see they got problems. They don't work in the cold weather that well. They're not put together all that well. He doesn't have a supply or a repair chain ready. So when they break, you got to wait forever to get them fixed. Well, now all these problems are coming to roost. And people are realizing, hey, maybe it isn't such a great company. It all started with a belief, not a reality. People jump on the bandwagon and then things go up and then they go right back down again. I mean, if you look at the overall stock market, look at a company like Krispy Kreme donuts, and for a while their stock went bananas. You could have made 10 times your money if you had invested originally, because they kept expanding Krispy Kreme donuts everywhere, where a lot of them are gone now because it's a belief and eventually the reality hits it. Donuts, anybody can make donuts. You can get donuts anywhere. Why is this one company gone so far? Well, now it isn't. It went back down to reality, and in the case of Tesla, it's coming back down to reality now for actual people in the millions that are going to buy these things. And it looks like there aren't people that are going to buy them in the millions. Too expensive. Too low quality. If people say, oh, what happened? What happened? Hey, it was only years ago that the company was $29 a share. Maybe that's what it's actually worth, or even less, right? These fantasy figures were just a belief that people fell into. Now they're finding out, gee, our belief in those things, maybe it was not that well founded. The quality's not that good. They cost too much. There's no place to get them repaired. They got so many things going against them. It's amazing that they fooled people as long as they did to get the stock that high. Well, you know, people are always whining about cars, destroying the atmosphere, ruining the earth. Well, now you can blame it on beavers, too. There's photos from space that show beavers have made 11,000 new ponds in Alaska. That's starting up global warming by damming up the rivers and making these little ponds. What, are we going to start banning beavers now? And the headline of the story is, believe it or not, beavers are wreaking havoc on the Alaskan tundra as savagely as a wildfire. The beavers are getting bad PR here, if you ask me. Now the green people are trying to blame the beavers on global warming, right? Well, yes, the beavers do cut down trees, right? I don't really know how much the beavers in Alaska are affecting the world's climate, you know? So all these scientists are saying this can affect global warming. These beavers making these ponds, changing the way, cutting the trees down with their beaver teeth, right? And one scientist said, well, there's not too many animals out there that can create a footprint on the planet that you can see from outer space. All the new ponds they've created, right? So the next time you see a beaver, you might start worrying they might be creating global warming like our cars do, too. Just realize in the past, there were many more beavers till people got a penchant for wearing beaver hats that they did in the 1800s, 1700s, right? Who knows? Maybe somebody will start trapping the beavers making beaver hats. It'll be a new fashion statement. Save the planet with a beaver hat, right? I couldn't resist this one. Beavers and global warming. Watch out for the beavers. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.